I wanted to go on this short-term mission trip because I've always wanted to do something to support the Great Commission without going on long-term mission trips. And I've always wanted to see other cultures, other people that I would normally not ever see. People from on the other side of the world, that's always been a goal of mine, and I'm really glad I went.
For this trip, it was amazing for me to see God's presence in Ghana and in the ministries that are being done.
My primary concern was, will I be useful? Do I have any skills or talents that will contribute to the cause and to the goals of the trip? As it turned out, the challenges were much less than what I had prepared for, what I had prayed for. It was obvious to me anyway that we had great prayer cover. There were people praying for us. We knew that. I felt that. I felt peace about most everything. And then whenever there was a challenge or a hiccup, Pastor Otis and Pastor Moose, they were always on it. They took great care of us and dealt with whatever happened.
Yeah, I think some of those things are natural, right? There, the things like bathrooms and food. But I think we do an extensive training. We spend weeks ahead of time talking through all of the things that are going to be culturally different and structurally different for us. But we are fortunate to partner with a man who understands the needs from us from the West, and they take very good care of us. They put us in comfortable environments. They feed us food that's good for us. But really, it's about trusting that we are prepared when we're on the trip. What would you think?
Yeah, I can understand having fears or anxieties or just some level of discomfort or hesitation whenever traveling to a place that's very new and different. I think the preparation is really helpful. Knowing that you've been there many times, that causes me to feel much more comfortable, and I think that contributes to the comfort of everybody else who's there. And then really there's no way around it other than stepping into it. When you get there, you're like, okay, yeah, this is different, but I like this. This is really, really good.
The world I live in is much different than the world that people live in Africa. There's also a possibility of change in plans when you go on a missions trip, so you always have to be flexible.
So the first village we went to, we were about the, second, third, or fourth visit from Pastor Moose's organization. And so when the pastor got up and said, we're not here to give you water or money or anything from the U.S., we're here to give you Jesus and salvation. That first village, it was 50 to 100 people stood up and said, yep, we're in. And to me, that was amazing.
One of the things that stands out to me is when we were in this village, and I know it stood out to you because you really wanted to pray with this man. There was an elderly gentleman who could barely stand up. And when people were asked at the end of a sermon if they wanted to follow Christ, he asked for help to stand up because he wanted to stand with the rest of his village and he wanted to give his life to Christ. Where you see the joy that comes on people's faces. When you sit with village leaders and they tell you that they want you to come into their village because they see all the good things that are happening in other villages when that village has a church. I love it. I get to play a role in investing in leadership development with some of the church leaders there, and seeing them come together and us talking together and the things that we share, it just feels like God is binding us together. Those relationships continue. I continue to talk on the phone and text back and forth with those guys, and so I feel like I'm getting a front row seat to some of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think for me, all of those things are true. I love being Russ. I wouldn't have gone back all the years that I have if those things weren't true. But for our teams that go, it's such an amazing experience to watch people actually step into and use the gifts that God's given them, right? And to have a real moment to trust that their story has impact on someone's lives and share. But it also gives us time to spend time with people from our congregation and get to know them and share their stories. And it's such an amazing thing to watch people just get it, right?
Otis, I think that's amazing because you see the people who come with us on the trip, you see their confidence in God grow. I think that's God moving. I feel like my confidence in God grows on these trips. I've now had the privilege to go to Ghana twice. And so I get to see the ongoing result of things that were done before, and you see the faithfulness of God and the confidence of people in their relationship with God and how they're sharing the gospel with others. I'm absolutely over the moon for what we get to see and experience there.
I would add to that. I love watching these guys that I've worked with for over a decade sit in a room and have serious conversations about leadership with you that are on a whole nother level than they were when we started. It is such an amazing thing to see how God has transformed their lives and the lives of the churches and the villages that they invest in.
I encourage anyone who has any interest to go. You might think I don't have enough money to go on a trip, or I would be uncomfortable, or I don't know how to talk to other people who aren't like me. Just go and see what it's about and pray. I did not have the finances to go on this trip, and money came in from people that I didn't think would give, and it was just amazing. I'm so thankful I went. So I'd just encourage you to try.
I mean, I would always encourage you to not think that you don't have a place on these trips. Everyone has gifts, everyone has skills, everyone has a story that would matter and make change in people's lives if you're just willing to step out and share it. And that's part of what we do on these trips. It's an opportunity for us to connect and share and give away all the things that God's given to us.
It's okay. I want to speak to those who might feel a little insecure. The most valuable thing that you have to contribute isn't a skill set, isn't an education level, isn't something that you can do. It's Christ in you and the hope of Christ in you that you can share with others. That is the greatest thing that you have to contribute. Maybe you know how to do something medically. Maybe you can contribute something as far as IT goes, or construction, or something else. I don't know, but the greatest thing you have to contribute is Christ in you, the hope of glory. And I hope that you would trust Him enough to let Him use you there. And I hope you'll sign up and go on a mission trip with us.